Hello and good morning. This is video log number 14, and currently it is 8 a.m. CST as usual. I had my coffee, just finished it actually, but now I have water here. So yeah, I just sat around with my thoughts today as usual. I decided to give myself an hour of just sitting with my head and see what pops up, and maybe I'll share some of it with you guys. The first thing I think that popped up in my head this morning was about I started I'm still thinking about video games and why they should partake in my life as of now. As I slowly quit playing these kinds of games, I think I will play more, laid back games, like maybe an MMO every once in a while and an RPG, just very laid back, maybe a story oriented one. Even maybe something challenging every once in a while, but I've decided to take a break from it so I can have a clear head to then angle myself properly to see it in a more healthy manner. So that's going to be in the background for a while. And also I just kind of want to focus my mental energy on myself, really, since I've been ignoring myself for so long, too long, to the point where I caused a really bad depression. I had a very minor one in high school. It wasn't horrible. Middle school, it was sort of there. But it was just me not, I think it was mainly just me not caring about anything. And I just didn't really see a reason in most of the things that we did in school and the trajectory of most people's lives. And I just couldn't quite see myself in the picture. So now I am trying to see myself in the picture. And I've been spending some time thinking about it, and I know what my strengths are. I do. I tend to think deeply about things, and I like to make abstractions, but I want to leave the joy of making abstractions in my own world. Maybe, I don't want to say professional, as a way of making some kind of monetary income. I can maybe, I'm thinking teaching still, sort of, or just information dispersion amongst the masses, and maybe. The thing is, I have to be very disciplined in a lot of those matters, especially if I decide to do teaching. The main thing with teaching is the fact that, I don't know, I say I'm impatient. I like, as soon as I just, my head fills with thoughts and random things that keep it occupied for it to eat and consume while other people talk or while I share information, wait for the response. And I've noticed that with Carrie, that's why it's hard for me to focus sometimes. I start thinking about, that's just a focus thing though. I don't know, I just have to kind of ignore those thoughts, I guess. But also, the thing is, I don't know, I want to put weight on some of my thoughts, and, sometimes people can tag it and label and say, okay, I'll think about this later, but at least with my thoughts is that they come in so quickly and then they disappear to the void, and I'm scared that they're just never going to come back, so sometimes I give it a little bit too much attention when they come in and before they leave into the void, because who knows, that thought could be life-changing. So that's why sometimes even when I'm talking, I have all these thoughts going through my head, and I have to kind of just focus on talking instead. And yeah, sometimes that's why I pause and I have trouble finding words and whatnot. But yeah, anyways, I was also thinking about, tech. I used to, I don't think I would ever work in Fang, at least. Just to, I don't know, it just looks like, I hear a lot of bad stories about Fang and whatnot, and, it could be wrong, and I just don't want to sacrifice, I know you get paid a lot if you're good at it. Of course, I'm not saying that I would be good at it, but, it's still a path that I can consider myself to do because of the fact that, my brain's fairly logical. I tend to structure things and dissect things pretty easily and reconstruct them if I need to, but it's just I just hear a lot of bad stories about Fake. And personally, I don't like working for big corporations. Working with other people, I don't know. I'm just, the thing is, I have trouble with working with other people for some reason. I tend to work better by myself or maybe with one other person, or at least I know there are structures in which teams are not like working real time together. They have like their own responsibilities and then they come back and then have meetings about these things and whatnot. So, that's cool and all. But the only thing I'm concerned about is like in these big tech companies are the people that come in. I know there are a lot of smart people. Most of them are very intelligent. But at the same time, we have this tendency to be a little bit compulsive. It's mainly because of the deadlines that corporations impose on big companies and whatnot, or at least that's what I would assume is that. For the most part, people who get into tech and whatnot, I've just heard some bad stories about going into tech and then having to read through code and seeing an absolute mess of modularity and structure in a given piece of code, or even multiple systems interacting with each other that are hard to parse for any human, at least. So that is not good. That is not good if we can't properly dissect and parse, and from at least our human brains, we're going to have to. Systems are very complex, which is especially now. We need to find a way. Anyways, whatever. I have my own thoughts about that, and that's why I just don't want to waste the mental energy on decrypting code that some psycho decided to put in the system. So I maybe that's selfish of me. Maybe but I feel like I can put my mental energies on things that are a little bit more important. My values do not align with Facebook or any of the other tech companies. Really, I don't care about money as much as other people. It's nice that people can have a vision and say, I want this dream. They can go buy a big house and, sign out of society for the rest of their lives. That's great. I'm good for them. But I'm not one of those people. I think of a picture like that. And when I see it, I see this big house, maybe a car, maybe a family, maybe a bunch of friends, and I just don't see happiness in that. I just don't see it. I don't see how people see it, really. That's why, that's another reason why I don't have passion, because I really just don't have those passions that other people see in those material things. And I know maybe you can use that money just to, go to the woods and live in isolation for the rest of your life and read things. And I think about those things and a lot, actually, isolation. But I don't know. I think I don't know. It's hard. It really is. I kind of want to live somewhere in between middle class and low class, because I don't want to lose sight of those people. I really don't want to lose sight of the lower abstractions of society. I really don't. The higher abstractions, I don't know. I never liked higher abstractions. I've always wanted to work at a low level, and that includes working at a low level in the society as well. So, the only place in tech I probably would work at, not a company. the only field would probably be embedded systems. As I mentioned before, I have two microcontrollers, an F303 RET, and I also have the TM4C GXL or something. GXL, well, these are both development boards. They're interesting, and I don't know. I'm just impatient, and I don't know how to focus my energy and commit to things, because, again, I understand why. It's because I don't really have a meta structure in my head, a goal in mind, or a picture that I want to achieve after that. I find the joy in learning. I find a joy in learning things, but then, once I feel like I've learned something, I don't really feel like applying it, That's why I like math, because I can just create these structures and leave them as is. I can enjoy them in my head if I want to, and just tease my mind a bit. Maybe I'll manifest those abstractions in my head and maybe see how they relate to the physical world and whatnot. And I've done that a couple of times, and it's interesting, I guess. Maybe I'm just meant to be an observer in this world. I'm not really a doer. I'm really not. Maybe I can get myself to do it, but that's gonna require a lot of work and pain. And maybe that's the reason that people do it, because it requires pain and getting out of your comfort zone. And I don't know. I feel like I'm already going through pain just by sitting with my head. So, as of now, that's already, enough for me. Maybe, this is me now. I know this thought will probably change in the future. As usual, I've had a lot of thoughts, and which actually in the past 2 weeks, I'm like, why did I say that? I really don't know why I said that. But I'm glad I'm sitting with my head and I'm deciphering these things for myself, because this is taking way too long. I've ignored my thoughts and my emotions and signals for way too long, and here I am rationalizing through all of them. I remember when I was in a deep state of depression, and I was like, I rationalized through every, and it seemed completely rational to take myself away from this world. And I calculated all the weights of the damage that it would inflict on my parents, the damage it would inflict on society. Well, not really, because I didn't really do much in society. I was kind of an outcast, really. I was more concerned about what my family would think and how much pain that would inflict. And yeah, I tried to look at the real-time implications of how much pain I would be going through in the next 20 years. And I was like, well, yeah, I guess if you want to think of it like that, then sure. It wouldn't be the smartest thing to do. But fortunately I went through that, and I decided that, yeah. And also, like, even if it did end up being more rational than staying alive, I wouldn't have done it, because I decided to make a choice, an emotional choice. I never thought I would do that, but I did. So, yeah. So I've a note of things, because most of my videos recently have been very just me thinking about what I've been thinking, and at least now I spend a little bit of time before the video to write them down instead, so it's easier for me to keep my head on track. And I guess another thing is my love for abstractions, and a lot of people would ask, why aren't you in tech or academia and whatnot? And yeah, that's I just don't particularly. I guess you have to, in this world, you have to subscribe to some things. You kind of have to sell yourself a little bit. I still haven't accepted that for some reason. I still have this heightened sense of who I think I am. And by subscribing to academia and its corrupt nature, I don't like it. I don't like the nepotism. I don't like how we exploit people by using, we have student loans and all that, but, it's just, it doesn't, I know capitalism is all about exploitation, and maybe I'm just being naive about this, but I just don't want to subscribe to it. I think there are ways in which I'd rather go through more pain in a more decentralized manner to get what I want. I really don't think I need academia. Sure, it'll take me longer. Sure, it'll cause me more pain, but at least I can make that choice. And I wish other people would make that choice, because I just don't like that. I just don't like the structure. I don't like it. I don't subscribe to it. I really don't. I really didn't like anything about it. I was depressed when I was in Thomas Nelson. I was happy when I left high school, because, like, thank God I'm out of here, right? But Jesus Christ, when I went to, I literally just went against every single signal in my body when I went to school, university. And sure, I had these dreams of becoming a theoretical physicist or a mathematician of some sort, doing research, or I don't know. I'm probably, I guess since I invested money in university, I'm going to go to college still to at least get my bachelor's. So, that'll probably be maybe in the next couple of years, depending on what decision I make. Yeah. So I think that's really all that was going through my head today, this morning at least. I decided to, since today's Sunday, I decided to not really do anything. Yeah. So I'm here, and, I don't know. I see a lot of people in this world that it's like they have so much potential, and there are a lot of people, due to the structure that we live in now, and that is obviously bound to happen. It still makes me sad, I think I'll eventually desensitize from it, but just there are a lot of things that make me sad about this world, and it is what it is. I guess one thing I saw, if we're on the tangent of things that make me sad, is that there was this kid sitting in the train and with his father. I think it was his father, maybe a stepfather or something, but I just feel bad for Generation Alpha. I think, millennials thought the same thing and boomers thought the same thing about X, and X thought about the same thing about the millennials, but it's just, the world that these kids are thrown into is just not great. It really isn't. It's turning us into a bunch of mindless monkeys, and I just feel bad, I just feel horribly sad for a lot of these kids, mainly pertaining to technology, mainly social media. I don't know, all these games that kids play nowadays, and I don't know. Anyways, I think, especially at that age, those poor kids that are supposed to be developing certain parts of their brains are wasting their energy on fake stimulation, virtualization, really, in a very simplified system with very simple constraints. And, they, by doing that, I think they're kind of, by doing that, I think that the people who have made those games are conditioning these people to become victims of the world. I mean, what else will the parents do? I mean, there are a lot of smart parents out there that wouldn't do that. But there are a lot of parents that go down the easy route for themselves, but they don't realize that they're actually inflicting more pain for the future of humanity and their kid by letting them use that iPad or that phone or by playing those games constantly. I don't know. I saw them in the train doing that, but maybe he's a little bit more strict about those time restraints and whatnot. But whatever. This is the future of humanity, I guess. Virtualization, because we can't seem to really absorb the reality of the world, and there's so many things to fix, so many. And I look at it and I feel hopeless too, looking at all the problems that we have in the world, and I really want to help. I really do. And maybe I won't be able to help in the way that I want to, but at least I will try to be a good person and a good example for the rest of the world. And I was thinking about getting, walking around some of these blocks and cleaning up a little bit, since, I'm not really doing anything else. I'm just kind of sitting in my head and thinking, thinking is fun. It can be fun, but, sometimes you just have to do things. Yeah, I don't know. This world is just, it's not the world that I want to be in. It really isn't. And there are a lot of people who run away into their small worlds, and for some reason I can't ignore this world that we're in, the world that is here and presented to us. I just can't. It's like, I want to make it better. I want to make the story of this world that we're in and humanity a little bit better, and I want to put even the smallest positive impact for the rest of the world, at least to some degree. I was thinking about volunteering and tutoring maybe. I don't know. I think tutoring's interesting. I also have my personal preferences of what I want to do. But, sometimes you have duties and you have to properly balance your duties with your own preferences. You have to kind of throw yourself away and just do what you have to do, knowing what capabilities you have, where you lie in this world, and how your actions can impact the world in a good and positive way. So I just really don't care about money. I'm just not a selfish person. I want to help people because I've realized I know people have a lot of potential. Some people are a little bit, further down the ladder in the consciousness domain. And, since I tend to be semi-aware, at least I can help people either become more aware or, take care of them a bit, I used to. I was not really the greatest person in the past. I used my awareness to not really, it wasn't, I guess to a degree it was a positive net profit. If you look at the picture, they didn't realize what was going on, but I did. But I still took advantage of them because they couldn't see it, but I could. And, I still feel guilty about it. But it's kind of like having a pet, a dog. You do things for your own benefit, and the dog doesn't realize what's going on, right? Because they're not that conscious. So I've done that a couple of times, and there were a few instances in which it didn't end up being a net positive, because that person ended up being a little bit more intelligent than I expected. But I don't want to be a bad person. I know I can be because of my awareness in this world, but I've decided not to be. So I'm going to be a good person. I have morals, and my morals are is to put myself down into the picture of humanity, a picture of humanity as a whole. I want to take care of people. I want to make sure they're okay, and I don't necessarily need to put my preferences in the picture. I can be selfless when I need to. But anyways, I think that's it for now. I hope you guys have a wonderful day.